Hi there, I'm Ben Mankiewicz. Welcome to TCM. We're spending the next several hours inside the scathingly brilliant, memorably irreverent, laugh-out-loud world of writer and director Christopher Guest. Guest has become synonymous with a style of comedy he's mastered and popularized over the years, the mockumentary, although that's a word that Guest doesn't particularly like, partly because these films don't mock documentaries. They use the documentary format as the template for their inventive brand of comedy. So we'll be calling these fake documentaries. Chris Guest started as an actor. The first two times he appeared on screen with a credit, he played police officers. First in The Hot Rock from 1972, a much-loved heist movie starring Robert Redford and George Segal. Then in Death Wish, the Charles Bronson-led revenge film from 1974. His real breakthrough came in 1984 when he starred in and co-wrote the landmark fake rock and roll documentary This Is Spinal Tap, which he created with his close friend Rob Reiner, who directed it. We'll have that movie later tonight. After Spinal Tap, Guest put his own spin on the formula as writer, director, and actor in a series of brilliant and funny fake docs like Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, For Your Consideration, and the movie we have next. It's from 1996, Waiting for Guffman. Guest stars as Corky St. Clair, an eccentric community theater director living in the small town of Blaine, Missouri. Blaine is getting ready to celebrate its 150th anniversary, and Corky is commissioned to create an original musical about the town's history and then perform it as part of the celebration. So, Corky holds auditions and assembles an unforgettable troupe of amateurs. He also hears that somehow a Broadway producer, the Mort Guffman of the title, is coming to town to critique the show. Corky can practically feel the white-hot lights of Broadway on his sensitive skin. Is Corky's skin sensitive? I don't know. Seems like it would be. Guest and his co-writer, Eugene Levy, who has worked with Guest on all the fake docs he directed, began with only an outline and a concept for each of the characters. From there, the movie was almost entirely improvised. Fortunately, they were working with some of the finest improv comedians in the business, including Fred Willard, Bob Balaban, and Parker Posey, plus Levy himself and Catherine O'Hara, who are now world famous, less so for the movies they made with Guest, more for the Canadian-produced TV series Schitt's Creek. Levy and Guest didn't know each other well before Waiting for Guffman, though they admired each other's work. Guest said that Levy was one of the few people who genuinely made him laugh, so he asked him to co-write the story. It started a beautiful friendship and a successful writing partnership that continued with Best in Show, A Mighty Wind, and For Your Consideration. From 1996, this is Waiting for Guffman. The music in Red, White, and Blaine, all of it original music, was written by Christopher Guest and his co-stars from This Is Spinal Tap, Michael McKean and Harry Shearer. 12 years earlier, when they made Spinal Tap, their director, Rob Reiner, had trouble getting anyone in Hollywood to produce the film. Nobody understood it or thought it was funny. But Reiner had a champion in his old boss from All in the Family, Norman Lear, who encouraged him to make the movie the way he wanted to, and also gave him the financing. When Rob Reiner later established his own production company, Castle Rock Entertainment, he asked Christopher Guest if he had any ideas for movies he'd like to make. Guest pitched the idea of a story about the 150th anniversary celebrations in Blaine, Missouri. Reiner, following in Norman Lear's footsteps, gave Guest the resources he needed and the blanket encouragement to make his movie his way. Coming up, the Christopher Guest Repertory Company returns in one of the funniest movies I have ever seen, Best in Show, taking us inside the cutthroat world of dog shows. It is next on TCM.
Next on TCM. Best in Show. Then this is Spinal Tap. And later, The Big Picture. Christopher Guest brings some perspective tonight.